everyone, my name is Trang.
My name's Kevin.
My name's Aleebi.
Hi, my name's Daniel.
And this quarantine season, I've been spending my time trying to hone in on two different mediums. One is video editing and the other one is drawing.
I'm a hip-hop artist based in the Bay Area. During this quarantine, one thing I really wanted to focus on was speeding up my workflow and being consistent with my releases.
Lately, I've been working on freestyling, specifically isolations and musicality.
This quarantine time, I've been trying to get better and back into archery.
Let's make moves.
Let's make moves.
Let's make moves!
Let's make moves!
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of MATSU. I hope you guys are all doing well and making moves during this quarantine. I just want to say thank you to those individuals who sent in those video clips and shared with us how they're making moves during this time. All of them are extremely talented, and I have linked their social medias in the description below, so please go check them out. And I want to also mention that although most of them have been working on their hobbies for a while now, it is never too late to start a new hobby and work at it. Okay, so let's get into today's topic because it's going to be a fun one. So I know that we're all confined in our homes, and as soon as this quarantine is lifted, I know a lot of people are going to consider traveling to another country. So today I want to share my top 3 traveling tips that I've come up with based off my travel experience last summer when I visited Southeast Asia. Just a quick disclaimer, these are all my opinions and you don't have to agree with them. So coming in at travel tip number 1, choose your travel buddy wisely. I know that this might seem pretty obvious, but let me explain. Just because somebody is your friend doesn't mean that they will be a good travel buddy. If you and your friend have completely different interests, traveling together can get a little bit difficult. For example, if you are the type of person that loves sightseeing or trying new foods, but your friend wants to shop for souvenirs and clothes, agreeing on the day's agenda can get pretty frustrating. When I was in Bali, I really wanted to take photos at the rice paddies during sunrise. And I can guarantee that the majority of my friends would not be down to wake up at 4 a.m. to do this with me. But luckily, my friend that I was traveling with was a down-ass person, and he was willing to sacrifice sleeping in so we can catch this really beautiful scenic moment. Now, of course, I want to say that you're not going to agree on everything. Traveling with someone is going to require a certain level of understanding and compromise between both parties. If you decide to travel with a large group, keep in mind that the conflict of interest multiplies, and you're going to have to be a lot more flexible on what the group wants to do as a whole. Travel tip number 2 is have a loose agenda. Although it's really important to plan out your trip and make the necessary reservations, you need to be careful about how packed you make your agenda. Of course, you're going to want to maximize the number of things you do in a brand new country, but going overboard is going to definitely bite you in the butt. You definitely want to leave room for free time, that being time to relax, eat, whatever it is. As a matter of fact, in my experience, the best parts of my trip were things that weren't actually planned or even in the schedule. When we got to our hotel on the first night in Phuket, we were surprised to see a row of street food vendors right around the block to where we were staying. And to be completely honest, that street food was probably the highlight of all the food that I actually had to eat in Thailand. We also checked out some places that the locals recommended, and those turned out to be the coolest, and we couldn't even find those locations online. Travel tip number 3 is be friendly to everybody and try to make friends. While in Singapore, we decided to go to the top of the most famous building, the Marina Bay Sands. This massive structure is composed of 3 buildings and a long ship across the top. At the top floor of the building sits the largest and highest infinity pool in the world. Here we sat at a table ordering drinks, and after a little buzz, my friend and I started making conversation with the waiter, whose name was Winjin. Shout out Winjin. We were pretty much asking questions about the hotel, Singapore in general, and he was asking about our lives here in the US. Anyways, after several rounds of drinks, he offered to give us a tour around the hotel and allowed us to sit at VIP seats worth a lot of money for free. The story behind that were that the people who had reserved those seats weren't supposed to arrive till later, so he allowed us to enjoy a beautiful sunset at the seats until they arrived. Another example is when we were in Thailand, we became really close friends with the driver who drove us to several different predetermined locations for a fixed price. Towards the end of our trip, while we were driving to a certain destination, our driver noticed that we got really excited looking at some monkeys on the side of the road. And because we developed this sort of friendship with them, he brought us to a park that was on the way that had a bunch of monkeys, and he allowed us to get out, feed them, and interact with them at no additional cost. Just being nice to the locals and the people around you can make a huge difference in your experience and make your trip just that much better. So thank you for making it to the end. Those are my 3 tips for traveling based off of my experiences. If you have never traveled before and found this video helpful, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already.